She hadn't set foot in a classroom since she was a college student. Denise says, PRHS has been my home for my entire teaching career, something of which I'm so grateful. As a business teacher, I taught keyboarding, website development for a year when the lovely Willie Benjamin got deployed. Personal finance, public speaking, speech, leadership, independent living, entrepreneurship, business communications, and business practicum. Denise was the activities director for 8 years, running school dances and graduation, among other things. Sophomore advisor, junior advisor, and prom coordinator, and senior advisor at varying times while activities director. Denise even worked in the textbook room for 1 year. She's a Skills USA advisor, former regional coordinator, and she is now the business club advisor. One of Denise's favorite memories was when one of her very first students she ran into them away after ninth grade. Sorry, I'm not reading very well today. The student saw Denise working at the Mid-State Fair on a concert stage about 5 years after I'd seen him. He introduced himself, shook my hand, and told me that he was able to survive because I taught him how things worked in the real world. He ended up in Missouri on his own and worked his way through high school while holding down a full-time job and supporting himself. He never came back to live with his parents. He told Denise, "You never treated me like I was a dummy. You always respected me. You were able to show me how learning how to be in the world was important. You never let me down, so thank you." Denise was stunned but grateful that even though she wasn't a very experienced teacher, she could still make a difference. Denise never saw this kid again, but somehow she knows he's doing okay. For Denise, life after June 11th includes running an internship program this summer. The goal is to reopen the student store and provide on-the-job experience in customer service, cash handling, inventory management, and people management. After that, Denise is starting a podcast with a friend designed to educate people about autism, what it is and isn't, strengths and challenges of people with autism and the people who are close to them, and how to change the social norms in non-inclusive workspaces, including schools, to recognize and embrace that the differences people with autism exhibit rather than punishing them. Stay tuned. Denise says, "I owe my brother Gene all of the credit for being here. I was miserable in my well-paying job in Orange County as a financial analyst in the oil and gas industry, and he convinced me to move my kids to Paso Robles to become a teacher. I thought, me, a teacher? Turns out he was 100% right, and it was worth the 75% pay cut."
Not even kidding.
My daughters and I got to spend years with my parents, got to go to school with me, and got to grow up in this beautiful community. Thanks to their teachers, my colleagues, who kept us all sane and successful. One last huge shout out to Sean Pierce, who convinced me to go to a singles mixer with him. That's where I met Chris, one of the biggest blessings in my life. Thank you.
Come on up, Denise. Let's give her another round of applause, guys. So, 2 words for Denise Conti. Well, I'm going to break my rule again and use more than 2. And since I'm really breaking the rule every time, I'm just going to call it guidance, and we all love guidance, right? Yeah. All right, that's the only bad COVID joke of the night, sorry. All right, so my phrase for you, Denise, is a little bit of everything Bearcat. As Joy really shared in her time here, Denise has really gotten involved in just so many facets of Bearcat life. We're a little city, as a high school, and one of the coolest parts of this career, and I think Denise embodies this, is that if it ever starts to feel stale or like you just gotta make a change, you can do it. There's so many things that you can shift and do here in Bearcat Land, and we need it all. And that keeps everything fresh. It keeps it fresh for our students. It keeps it fresh for our staff, and it really builds what can be a truly amazing career that has supported our students for so many years. So Denise, Paso Robles High School proudly recognizes Denise Conti for 21 years of dedicated service at Paso Robles High School. Thank you.
Keep it short. I just wanted to say that as a burnt-out banker who came up here working part-time, was super poor. I was always poor in money, but not in love. So I just am so grateful to my brother Gene for convincing me to come up here. Wow, I'm not a crier, but here I go. What a grand community this is, and continues to be, even though this community has changed a lot since I moved here in 2000. It's still a really strong, proud community that I'm so proud to have my children call their hometown. So thank you to all my colleagues who've always been so supportive during times that were sometimes unbearable in my life, but also there to help me celebrate the victories. And I'll never forget you, and I'll be back next year for graduation because my nephew is graduating next year. So I will see you all next year when I come here from Texas. Come on out, y'all. Thank you again. I really appreciate everything and the bling from my lovely colleagues. Thank you. I love it too.
We all came to celebrate our retirees, but I know that some of you came for the band. So without further ado, I bring you the Howling Bearcats.
What? Maybe. Yeah, it's fine, because I can always delete it.